last week. So it was the first week, end of August, 1st of September. Snapchat cut 20% of its employees. The actual number, I think, now is right around 1,500 employees is what this represents. They shut down some new projects. And after the layoffs, Evan Spiegel, the CEO, had a company-wide call. And so here's everybody on the call that survived the layoffs. So it's not one of these stories. We've had enough of these. I hope we never hear about another CEO laying people off on a Zoom call. So fortunately, he didn't do this. But this is everybody who's left behind. And he goes on this call, and the reports say that he said, this is a good opportunity for Snap to emerge from these mass layoffs and prove the haters wrong. And apparently that message did not go over well because morale is so low. So here you got a leader who is trying to put a positive spin on a very negative situation and feels the need to go with some locker room, bang the chest. Hey, this is our chance to prove the haters wrong. Well, who are the haters? Critics? Stockholders that are griping about some of the executive decisions that he made? It's tone deaf. People need to be loved on in this moment. They need to be reassured. You need to cast vision coming out of times of pain and times of uncertainty. Cast vision, leaders. Don't say stupid locker room things like this. The whole call did not go well, but this was the one thing that kind of just stuck out to people. They don't want to hear that. Oh, it's a chance for us to prove the haters wrong. Well, I don't want to hear rah-rah. I just lost a bunch of friends. That's what people are feeling. The changes are an effort to cut costs and generate cash flow during a tough time for their digital advertising. One positive thing that did come out of the call for those Snap employees who are left behind is they were told that they will be getting a top up on their total compensation. So that's their way of saying, we're going to get your compensation back up because it had been dragged down due to the value of Snap stock. So the stock price of Snapchat plunged 80% in the last 12 months. So exactly what that's going to look like, they did not detail, but they promised a bump in pay. It certainly does help reassure a lot of people. But here's the bad news. The reason that the messaging after all the layoffs fell flat, and this is now, I'm sourcing two articles here. The first article, Business Insider, the second one, Yahoo. Snap employees have started joking that they work at Snapazon now. Obviously, morale is low, as I just mentioned, but there's a new COO, Chief Operating Officer, Jerry Hunter, at the helm, and he worked for Amazon for many years. And so this is all insider baseball, actual employees calling the company Snapazon, because you've had several, not just this Jerry fellow, but several leaders come in and get high-level positions that are former Amazon execs. And so now it's gotten away from creativity, apparently, and now they're obsessing over metrics, which was Amazon's. I mean, Amazon is all about the metrics. Incidentally, if you're new to our program, I think this clip is out on our YouTube channel, but I recently addressed Jeff Bezos and the leaked memo from Amazon, inside Amazon, where their company executives basically said, we overhired and we probably should do layoffs, but we've just decided we're going to let normal attrition run its rate. So they're not going to lay people off. They're just going to let them burn out. How tone deaf is that? Well, I don't know what the name of that clip is, Alex, but if you want to go check out our highlights on our YouTube channel, I went after the Amazon leadership on this in great detail, and this is a real problem. And Amazon, by the way, is modeling this for people. Now you got former Amazon execs that are coming into Snap and doing the same thing. Prior to the big layoff, last week, about 1,500 employees, Snap managers had been told by upper execs to put 10% of their teams on performance improvement plans known as PIPs. Performance improvement plan. Now, needless to say, if you get a PIP, that's not good, because that means leadership thinks you've got a whole lot more that you could be doing better. I hope it works out. But this is not good, because you've got employees now that are going. Let me tell you what happens in the psychology of an employee who's left behind. Some of you go, well, they should be grateful. Yeah. But when you have mass layoffs, okay, so the number is 20% of Snap's employees, the real hard number is about 1,500 people, and you're left behind. Let me tell you something. You're not feeling a whole lot of gratitude for very long, because then you start to look over your shoulder, go, is there another round coming? What would happen to me if that did? And you start really focusing on everything that could go wrong instead of focusing on your job. Now, on top of this, there's a culture of micromanagement. So employees who already feel unstable, and then you start nannying them like you're monitoring them all the time, let me tell you what happens. It takes about that long for people to let their eyes rove and start looking elsewhere. And so the layoffs had to happen. I understand that. That's a part of business. But if layoffs aren't handled well by leadership, it creates a tidal wave. It just builds, and people will leave you, especially in this job economy where there are a lot of options. As opposed to not coming in and doing rah-rah talk and going, oh, we're going to prove the haters wrong. No, come in and go, look, here's what we did. Here's why we did it. Here's how it failed. Here's what we have to do now. Here's why we're doing that. Here's where that's going to put us. And this is how we will reascend. And here's what we're going to do for you. Now, folks, I just laid that out like that quick. But that's an actual speech outline that if a leader like Spiegel would do something like that, then people are allowed to look at the entire situation. They see it from all sides because you as the leader have given them perspective. Then they go, okay, it sucks, but there's a plan. There's a new destination, and we're not playing rah-rah stuff. Oh, we're going to prove the haters wrong. That's a word salad. That's not anything substantive.